As said in the introduction, I am playing with this today, so this is still scenes. So this is available until the end of April. If you are watching this after April, this is no longer available. So I thought I would show you how to make a few quick cards using this stamp set. So this is my first card. So this is simply just using the greetings and the cottage. And I am going to take out the stamps I need. So I have got my cottage, my season's greetings, and my sentiment. So the cottage will fit onto a D block or a similar size. So this is from one of my kits. I might actually just make sure that's straight. The season's greetings will also fit on a D block. Oh, she says. And I have been using a H block, I think, for the big one. Okay, so first thing you need is a card base. So I have got a card base which is my normal 14.5 by 21 scored at 10.5, and the measurements will be linked in below for my metric, everyone else's metric, and Imperial. So I'm taking some VersaFine. Now Stampin' Up sell Stays On. Me and Stays On are not friends. We've fallen out of love, so VersaFine works well for me if I'm using watercolours, and Memento is what I use if I'm using blends. So there's my cottage, and I'm going to put that to one side because this Memento can be very, very crazy. So I'm going to clean this off using a piece of paper. So as you can see, the Memento is actually coming up, and then I'm going to use my black chamois to just clean that off. And actually it's already stained from Stays On, so that's not good. And then I'm going to put that to one side. Okay, so for the inside of the card, I have stamped the sentiment here in red. So this piece of paper is 10 by 14 centimeters. So if you are doing it normal metric, that would be 10 by 14.3. And then you would stamp the season's greetings onto the bottom of this card. So I'm just going to take some real red. I'm just going to ink up my stamp, and then I'm just going to stamp this at the bottom of my card like so. So I'm just going to clean my greeting off. So, whoa, throwing everything everywhere again. So you can tell I've been using real red recently because my chamois is quite red. Okay, so we can now move on to the watercolours, or the watercolouring. So I'm going to move this out of the way. And I have got my watercolour pencils that I'm going to use. So I am going to use Daffodil Delight, Early Espresso, Old Olive, and Real Red. And these are all from Watercolour Set 1. And there's a number of ways you can use these. So you can use them by themselves, you can use them with a blender pen, you can use them with a watercolour brush, or you can use them with Stella. So the way to add them, there's a number of ways to add them to your card as well, which I'll show you. So the first thing I'm going to do is colour in the trees. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take my Early Espresso, I'm going to colour on to this piece of scrap card. I'm going to take my blender pen and I'm going to pick up the colour. So as you can see, there was no colour on this blender pen, and there's now just a little bit of colour that I can add to my tree. And I'm just going to go along bits of my tree. Just add some brown, and if I want to go back in, I just pick that up again. And then I just want a bit of brown down there and on the doorway. So for the green, I'm just going to clean this off. So for the green, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to take my pen. Actually, I'm going to show you a different way. So for the green, I'm going to take my blender pen and I'm going to take the colour off the end of the pen. And then what will happen is, it's now green. And I'm going to use that on the tree underneath where the snow is showing, all the way down, like so. And then, so that's way number 2. Way number 3 is just to use them by themselves. So you can just simply colour in. So I'm just colouring in the windows with the Daffodil Delight. And then you just leave them. So I wouldn't recommend that for large areas. And then the last way to use them is to colour in lightly directly onto your card. And then to take your blender pen, and I'm just going to make sure the green's gone. There we go. And then you will just blend around the colours that you've just done, just so there's no harsh lines, like so. And then I think this bit here should be green. So as I said, you can also, green. You can go straight in, colour as well, and then just move it around with your blender pen. And then all you would do is add in your inside, which is here. So I am just simply going around the outside and down the middle. And then we have a really simple card that you can make multiples of, and you can sit in front of the TV colouring if you wish to. And I think that's super cute. So my second card is actually a full snow globe. So this was my original, but I'm not really sure about the sky. So how you would make this is you would take another piece of card. So I've got this one. And there is a process for putting together the snow globe. So I'm going to stamp the snow globe this time in basic grey. So I've got my basic grey ink here. And I'm going to take my snow globe out. So to be able to stamp your snow globe properly, you want to use your base first, then your snow globe, and then your cottage. So the snow globe, I'm just going to pop on a E block. It's probably a bit too big, but that's fine. And the base, I'm going to pop on this one. So I'm just going to ink up my base. and then I'm going to stamp that about here. So there we go. Then I'm going to ink up my snow globe. And again, I'm just using basic grey. And I'm just going to line that up and stamp that down. And it's not perfect, but it's better than my first attempt. And then I'm going to stamp my cottage in grey as well. So this isn't really waterproof, but you can use it to stamp with. So there we have our cottage, our snow globe done. And now I'm going to add a sentiment. So I've got my season's greeting again, and I'm going to take my bottom off and put it on a different one because I need this block for my sentiment. So let's move this out of the way. And I'm going to stamp my sentiment this time in Night of Navy. So there's my Night of Navy sentiment. I'm just going to move that to the side a second, and I'm going to bring in another piece of card which I'm going to use on the inside. So again, this is a piece of card which is 10 by 14. I'm just going to stamp this at the top. So the reason I stamp them at the top is so that you just put the name at the top and then you would write your message underneath. And is that a bit skewer? What do we think? It's usable. Okay, so let's colour in the snow globe. So I'm going to move all my junk out of the way before I colour myself in. Drop everything on the floor, cause chaos, the normal junk that I get up to. Okay, so as I said, you can colour in a number of different ways. So for this one, I'm going to colour the base in Daffodil Delight, and this is really quick and simple. And you can push down as hard or as soft as you like. And then I want this to be shiny, so I'm going to colour in with Stella. Now you want to make sure that your brush isn't too wet, otherwise it'll cause your card to place. So what you want to do is just rub it off slightly to the side first before you put it together. And you don't want to go over it too many times. So even though that is Stella, it's not too wet and it's not showing through. So once you've done it once, you shouldn't really go back. Okay, so again, you would go in with your colours for your trees. Picking up browns. Then greens. That's still showing a bit browny, isn't it? Should have cleaned this off properly. And then greens. That's better. And then under here. And then we're going to colour in the house as well. So I'm going to do the door. And the windows. And then lastly, I'm just going to colour in the house again. And I'm just going to take off any rough lines. Now, you could colour the sky. However, I think colouring such a large space with watercolours with no gaps is probably something that is quite difficult. So I wouldn't recommend it. If you want to mask it and to use a blender pen, then that would work. But I don't recommend colouring that in with your watercolour pencils. So then you would stick this into the inside using your multi-purpose glue. So again, you would just go down the centre and around the sides, and that would stick that in. And there you have your second card. So I'm going to go for card number 3 really quickly, and this one is super simple and easy. So let's move my junk out the way because we won't be using that. Okay, so I have got a Night of Navy card, which is 10.5 by 14.5, so it's actually 21 scored at 10.5. I have got a piece of gold foil, which is 10 by 14, and I've got a piece of Night of Navy, which is 9.5 by 13.5. So I am going to heat emboss on here. So I am simply going to use an embossing buddy or a anti-static tool of any sort, and then I'm just going to pop that off. Then I'm going to take my sentiment. So I have got my Season's Greetings here, and I've just realised that it's still got ink on. So I'm just going to quickly clean that off. Then I'm going to take my Versamark, and I am simply going to tap that down, and then go down on here, and then I'm going to take some gold embossing powder and some scrap paper and blow that off, and then I am going to put this back in here. And then I'm going to heat this up, so it won't be a second. So this is what it looks like. So I have heat embossed gold. Now I completely forgot about this stamp. So this is just some Versamark, and I'm just going to simply heat to do the same. So I'm just going to stamp this randomly around. I think I might do 5. and then I am going to add golden embossing foil powder and I'm going to heat it up. So this is all done, and all we need is an inside sentiment. So to do that, I have got my sentiment, I've got my Night of Navy ink pad, I'm going to move this out of the way, put the lid on here. I should really actually do the tidy up as you go along, shouldn't I? Rather than just sort of going bits and woo. Anyway, okay, so I'm just going to stamp this sentiment at the top again. And it's the wrong way around. Oh, okay. Yes, we all have those moments. Okay, so just stamp that there. Stamp that down. That will do. And then just combine. So if you are a frugal crafter, which some of us can be, then you can gut, there goes my stamp, you can gut the inside of your gold foil, which some of us do. So whether it's like happy birthday, whether it's sentiments, or whether you want to make balloons or butterflies or different things. There we go. And then I'm just going to stick this onto the front. Then we're just going to stick this on the inside. And there's card number 3. So we have done card number 1, card number 2 and card number 3 using the Still Scene stamp set. Thank you very much for pressing play on the video today. I hope that this has helped you, and if you are new to my channel, please press the subscribe button and ring the bell so that you're aware of when I post. And I hope this has inspired you to pull out Still Scenes and to make some Christmas cards and to join in the 5Cs Crimbo Challenge. If you've got any questions, you can contact me, Claire at handmadeathudsons.co.uk. You can contact me on here. You can contact me on Facebook, Handmade at Hudsons, or you can find me at handmadeathudsons.co.uk. See you later. Bye.